Did you know that 60% of Americans approve of hunting, but only 7% actually hunt? Well, there's a little fact for you. And really, what I'm going to talk about is not hunting, but bow hunting. It's a type of hunting. And the bow hunter must be mentally strong, skillful, and understand the fundamentals of the brain, body, and environment. Now, before we get into details, let's define what a bow is and what hunting is. The bow is one of the oldest man-made weapons. It's almost like a sling. When you pull back, you generate more force than what a human can. And hunting, it's like the practice of pursuing usually wildlife such as deer for food, recreation, or trade. The bow and arrow involves the whole body and mind. Many things must be taken into effect when going out to hunt in the morning. Hunting has been with us for generations, and over the years we have adapted, but the hunter's mindset still has stayed the same. The mindset is knowing the bow, knowing where your arrow is going to go. And with this said, you should be confident in where it is going. And to be confident, there are many things that you can do. You can go to the store and you can get yourself a small little target, or you can go to an archery league with your friends. And usually a lot of archery leagues you can find pretty local, and it is a little bit costly, but it does help you in the long run. And with that being said, you have to adapt. And adapting is knowing your environment. To know your environment, we have to ask ourselves, is the shot safe? Is everybody behind the line when you're about to shoot at the target? And that is very important because you don't want to hurt anybody. To hurt people, it's just, you don't want to do that. So another way to do that and not hurt anybody is to really act like every target that you pursue is a real one. And with these targets, you can get 3D ones. So like for a deer, you can actually get a 3D target of a deer, which will represent the whole body, instead of just a regular piece of paper where you can shoot at one spot on the piece of paper. And with this being said, you can have different angles, and your shot area will be different because of the angle. And targets you can put at any distance, just like when you're out hunting. You never know what distance it's going to be at, so you have to accommodate that when you're practicing. You have to put it. Okay, let's just put it out here. You don't know what that distance is, just like you would be at hunting. And you'll pull back and you'll guesstimate what that is. And you'll shoot. Let's say you're low. Then you'll have to move your bow up. Because what happens is when you pull back, you're putting a set amount of force on your bow. And the longer distance that it goes, the more force that is released, and when you release, the force and the distance go hand in hand. They go the longer distance, the less that force will be applied to that distance. So you have to take that into effect. And another thing with not trying to injure somebody, you also don't want to try to injure an animal. So when you're out in the woods, you have to try to control your adrenaline. And adrenaline is something is very, very hard to control. But with all this practice that you can take over the summer before deer hunting, you you could easily help your adrenaline. Even though when you're out there, you got a wild animal in front of you, adrenaline is going to be very hard to control. But when you're out there, it's going to help you control it because of all of the practice that you've had in the past to get to this situation. So when you're out there, you'll be like, okay, I'm really nervous and shaking, and there's a deer in front of me. Oh my god! And that's what your mindset is at that time. But then you start to once it settles and you're there and your adrenaline's still there, but it's slowly slowing down. Then you start to realize, oh, okay, I have to shoot this angle, and I have to, okay, it's this far away, so I have to shoot farther up, or I have to shoot farther down. That's what comes in hand with the practicing and being out in the real world. And knowing the mental mindset of a hunter, and knowing where your arrow is going, and knowing how your body adapts to change, these are all things of becoming a successful bow hunter. Bow hunter has been with us for years and is going to be with us for years to come in the future.